And then there's Nico Iamaleava, who now is officially in the portal. It's not a breaking news, not a surprise, but he is now in the portal. However, do not contact tag. Does that mean he already knows where he's going, or are they the ones that have already been contacting people but wanted to let everyone know officially he's in the portal?
Yeah, I don't know. That was kind of strange to have a do not contact tag. And of course,
I've seen that before, though.
I mean, for him to have a do not contact tag, given especially the details in the story that Max and Pete Thamel put together about his market is basically nothing right now. And then what we're about to talk about in a second, where Nico's family is trying to, I don't know, but they
the Nico side-by-side similarities, man. The Nico Harrison, like the damage control they're doing, the Mavericks, Nico, it's very oddly similar to the Nico parallels here.
Yeah, don't name your kid Nico this year. It's bad luck.
Yeah, it is.
But I would think that he'd be like, please contact me. But I guess he's got some places that he wants to look, or somewhere maybe that he's already going to go and say, but we'll see. I mean, it's a weird situation.
All right. We have Amanda Kristovich, who's become one of our favorite segments from Front Office Sports. She wrote a column, article behind the scenes of what was going on. And in that, she had an interview with one of the family members or family friend. And some of the quotes are, in a phone interview with Front Office Sports, a close family friend of Nico, who has been heavily involved in his son's NIL negotiations. Now, a close family friend of Nico who has been very heavily involved in his son's NIL negotiations. The guy claims that Iamaleava pushed for more NIL money. The narrative was bullshit, says a friend who declined to be identified by name. Other Front Office Sports sources close to the talks dispute those claims. And also, his camp refusing to relinquish control, blaming Tennessee and the school's Spire Sports NIL collective. His representation hasn't steered him wrong. At the end of the day, what did we do wrong to steer him and put him in a bad situation? And of course, a lot of people had reaction to this. Don't know the sources, haven't talked to the family, but this was part of her story. She'll join us at 4.
Well, Nico's camp's already been caught lying once.
Yeah, I mean, why are we trusting anything they have to say?
Yeah, so they've already been caught lying once, that nothing was going on. And if it wasn't about more money, well, then what was it about? Like, why not?
In the story, it is about making sure, this again, just from the perspective of those in the Nico camp, making sure that they did get extra offensive linemen and wide receivers, et cetera, so that he would have better weapons and a better team around him. That's what they're claiming has been the discussion from even back at the end of last year.
Okay, and Tennessee's not doing that, and
Tennessee's like, no, we don't want to block for you.
And he's the one who gets to tell them because he knows all these things. Like, this is like, you know what's bullshit? This, like, that is just not, like, that's all ridiculously unreasonable. You think Tennessee doesn't want those guys?
Or they didn't know they needed help.
Like, you know who knows that? Josh Heupel.
Yeah.
They know what they need. They know what they lost. They know what they need to replace. He didn't wake up in the morning a couple of days ago and was like, are we in the SEC?
Yeah.
What? They didn't.
Why wouldn't we want to protect our quarterback? Or do we? Yeah.
No, this is damage control, and they should just keep their head down and not say anything.
Protect your online privacy with Nord VPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. Whether at home or on the go, NordVPN ensures your digital freedom. Stay secure. Download NordVPN today at nordvpn.com. That's NORDVPN.com.
Man, how could you not trust unnamed family friend who's deflecting all blame and saying they did nothing wrong? I can't believe we wouldn't just trust this person with our 100% confidence. But I mean, I'm not going to get like super, up in arms about this. I mean, their camp clearly feels a certain type of way, and they apparently can do no wrong, is what we've learned over the last few days. It's all the rest of the world that's reacting to all of these things wrongly, apparently. And so I'm sure they're going to end up laughing at all of us when he's sitting on a pile of gold and he has all of his offensive linemen around him protecting him and they get their way. Or maybe it's going to turn into a complete S show, kind of like the last few days have been. And either way, I mean, the world will move on. But yeah, I mean, unnamed family friend, I'm not putting a lot of stock in that. I'm also not giving the media 100% credit that they're always right. I can see where there's certainly some things that might have been twisted along the way, but the general basis of the story is pretty clear. The guy was threatening to hold out to the point of not showing up at a practice the day before the spring game, to the point of not then showing up after your head coach is unable to contact you, along with others in the program, unable to contact you the day prior because you're not answering their calls or returning text, and then you are off the team by Saturday. So if it was just a simple thing like, hey, I want more protection, I think Josh Heupel would be open-minded to that. This sounds like total BS and a little bit of damage control. I don't care at this point where he goes. I mean, I'm interested to know. But as far as the finger pointing, I don't care about any of that. It's you're gone. And unless there's some, miracle, and I don't know who it was, somebody floated out, well, what if they apologize? And it's like, nah, I think you're too far down the road at this point to put the genie back in the bottle. Good luck to him. Move on. The media is going to keep chewing it up the more you give them. So family friend needs to shut up, and Nico needs to go make his choice. And you know what he needs to go do is go ball out and shut up everybody. That's how you'll shut up everybody. But this fighting in the media to convince people that you are in the right when it clearly doesn't seem like you were, outside of from a business standpoint, I don't think that's doing anybody any good at this stage.
None of the sources who spoke with Front Office Sports disparaged Iamaleava in any way. No, I'm going to say it right. I've been getting better at it. I'm sorry I screwed it up the first time. Darren Heitner, who we've had on this show, who's an NIL, he teaches sports law, and he's at the University of Miami. When asked about Nico and the reaction to camp, he goes, oh, boy, where do I begin? Overplaying their hand, failing to immediately engage in damage control, completely ignoring the positives of a strong PR strategy. And he went on. And by the way, Christy Dosh talked to him, among a couple of other NIL type attorneys, agents, etc. And she will join us in about 30 minutes.
I do give you credit. You've been spot on with Iamaleava until today.
I start looking at this damn cake.
Today, it's just like you can just tell the wheels are spinning a little bit, and it's stumbling a little bit. So, yeah, I think Nico might be the preferred. But you've been definitely getting better at that. I think we've all been able to say his name. Yeah, correctly a few times where that was an obstacle initially.
It was for me. It's just like the Navy coach who's now at San Jose State. This is from Adam Sparks. He covers Tennessee. It's a pretty good point. The apparent waning interest in Nico Iamaleava is not a reflection of his talent. It's a reflection of his price. Schools want the quarterback. They're pulling away because the price is too high. Lower the price and everything changes, but that was the problem at Tennessee as well.
I thought he just wanted offensive linemen.
Yeah.
I thought he just wanted help around him. What happened to that narrative 5 seconds ago? It's not just
Nico. You got to get 5 other guys, 7 other guys, 8 other guys to all come with him that he clearly must have to approve. Because they've gotten off it. Like Tennessee last year in the portal dominated. They got a lot of good players in the portal. They got a few good ones in the portal this year. They have the next 10 days to go get some guys. Like, would it surprise me if he was still there to see them go get, the wide receiver from Syracuse or someone like that, or one of these good offensive linemen in the portal if they felt they needed it? No, they're Tennessee. They got money. So again, anytime you try to do damage control and it's not like, look, it's just best for me to leave at this time, then you're making a mistake.
Yeah, next thing you know, we're going to have Nico's father's going to have selected reporters gather in a room with no recorders and no telephones to record you. They can have a private conversation like the other Nico did. I mean, that's where we're headed at this point, to try to spin the narrative. The Duke not contact thing is interesting, especially when all the reporting is about the money and the money not being where it needs to be. So I'm intrigued about where he ends up. I mean, he's still got a lot of potential, and he's clearly got a skill set that made him a flashy, a highly desirable 5-star prospect less than 2 years ago. So, I mean, that didn't go anywhere to my knowledge. So I'm sure somebody's interested, but the do not contact part is interesting. I mean, UCLA seems to be the one school that's kind of remained in the conversation these entire last 3 or 4 days that this has been ongoing. I mean, at this point, that's the most interesting part to me, not what he wanted or what happened or the fallout. I think everybody loves like the dirty details, and all of that will come out in time that hasn't already. But yeah, where's he going to play? And why the no contact and where is the money at this point? But it definitely feels like the money is not where they obviously thought it was going to be when they were kind of pulling these strings behind the scenes. And so I'm glad that gamble on their part didn't exactly pay off, because I don't know that would have been the best thing for college football, as if that would have worked the way that they intended.
All right. One of the notes that I also saw, I didn't put it up on a tweet, I just happened to see this from a guy that's at NIL, a part of the NIL, I guess a collective. 3 things are driving this: continued shakeout of roster limitations. It's talking about the NIL, the portal, the money, and all that. Collective support driven by get in before the House settlement is approved has accelerated front-loaded deals. And then players and agents see all this, and of course they want to try to take advantage of it. I thought that when the $20.5 million revenue sharing is a part of the future, whenever that's approved, that you could also still add to that with NIL money.
You can, to my knowledge. I mean, you can still go get that Snickers commercial or the Oreos or Ford or whatever you can get. I'm pretty sure that was still on the table. They can't curtail that, because then that would be a limitation of the proper term slipping from me here, but I don't think you can put those types of limitations on a person. So that's a lawsuit screaming in your face to occur if you were to do something like that. So yeah, I mean, it doesn't solve. It's not like everybody is making the same across the board and they can't make any more. I mean, that would be lawsuits out the wazoo if that happened. So you can. So what's the point of you bringing that up?
No, I was just saying that from a perspective of somebody who's in the middle of it, of why you might see this race for what appeared to be more and more money, and guys wanting to possibly the trend of potential trend of holding out.
Yeah, but I mean, the other stuff is going to be there. Like I just saw an Arch Manning, he upgraded his Panini sponsorship, and he was doing autographs. I saw some tweet about that earlier today. So all that's still there for the taking. I mean, maybe what they should have done is, if you were really looking for more money and Tennessee's not keen to give it to you, is to work out something with somebody through the NIL arm or a Tennessee-related business that can give you the money that you're looking for ultimately. But yeah, I mean, the money is supposed to be, when that begins, coming from the schools, but that's the thing. It's not in play right now. And so, yeah, there's a mad dash, as we've seen with Texas Tech. They brought it up themselves. Mm-hmm. They said it in the media of this is all going to get kind of not shut down, but it's going to get, there's more parameters. So right now what everybody's doing is throwing as much money as humanly possible while they can, while there are no rules. And they're trying to all do that to the best of their ability before they're not allowed to do that to that extent anymore.
So, whatever extent that is.
And so I think what does make sense about this, and thank you, Nico, for all the spring content, by the way. I mean, my God, we'd be on whatever list we'd be on right now, if not for Nico the last few days. But
top 10 long snappers.
Yeah, I do think that's probably something his camp was betting on. Was they were seeing hey, this house settlement isn't passed, but all the talk is before it gets settled, everybody's going to throw as much money as possible and burn it all to get the most that they can before the door closes, so to speak. So I think that's probably where their mind was, as much as anything. That and the leverage of, I'm the starting quarterback. All you have is a redshirt freshman and a freshman. Mm-hmm. We were in the playoffs last year. That defensive run game's probably not going to be what it was. So I'm kind of going to be the guy moving into next year. That on top of, this is the last mad dash for cash before this settlement possibly gets passed. All that together, I can see where they were coming from. I'm man, we can hit a big jackpot right here. Just not understanding there's still human beings that are going to help out other human beings and say, hey, man, by the way, your starting quarterback's out there behind your back, la-di-da-di-dying over this money and trying to make moves behind you. And luckily, that got sniffed out, and that led us to where we are to have this juicy story to talk about.